Welcome to today's special event hosted by Bright Green. We're going to be hearing from some of the workers who are at the cutting edge of organising in the UK during the pandemic. I'm Harry, one of the editors here at Bright Green, and I'll be hosting this evening. But more importantly, we're delighted to be joined by two amazing speakers. We have Bile, who is speaking from the United Voices of the World Trade Union, and we have Henry, who's speaking from the Independent Workers' Union of Great Britain. We'll hand over to both of our speakers in just a second, but if at any point you have questions, put them in the chat or in the comments section so we can compile them and put them to the speakers in a second. And if you're watching live on Facebook or YouTube, please give us a like, a subscribe, a share, or the similar. Okay, so I'll hand over to our first speaker now, who's Bile. Bile is a strike leader in UVW's current dispute at Sage Nursing Home and has worked at Sage for 12 years. He's a senior care assistant and originally from the Ivory Coast. So over to you, Bile, to just hear more about your dispute.
Thank you. Good evening, all. I'm quite happy to be having this platform this evening to share with you our story. The fight is a fight for respect, equality, and dignity with all our members of the UVW, the United Voice of the World. We started 8 months ago, and our campaign was about quality care deserves quality pay. We think that with what we provide, the care we provide to our residents, our elderly in the community and the society, and how hard we've been working before the pandemic and during the pandemic, we've been on the front line, and then we offer the services to our elderly, because for us is a job we have decided to do. For us, it's a skilled job. What we ask at Sage Nursing Home is £12 per hour, is a sick pay and annual leave online and parity with the National Health Services. We ask for unsocial hours to be paid, but so far, nothing has happened. We went for 2 strikes. The first one was the 15th to the 17th of January. The second one was the 4th to the 8th. We had offer of negotiation. Nothing has happened. We believe that the management or the trustees are not listening to us. Going on strike has been one of the last decisions and very hard thing for us to do. We believe that with what we're offering to the community and the society, and as human beings, we deserve better. The fight for respect, equality, and dignity by our members at Sage Home has shown a light on the care system in crisis. We've been undervalued, underpaid, and for many, many years not looked at. We think that at Sage that a decent living wage, a creation of a national care services will be very important, because nowadays what we see is most of the company are turning to be privatized, outsourcing and slashing all the budget, all the funding they're getting from the government. I will also say solidarity for people from La Retraite Catholic School at the moment as well. They are preparing for a strike for the same reason, a private school with 2 different kinds of contract. Some people coming from the direct company got a better sick pay. Some people coming from the private company have got a better sick pay. So therefore, a national care services will be good for every low-paid worker, care worker, cleaner, maintenance people. So here we are today. We want to say that enough is enough. And then we want to lead the fight for living wage, for job security, for improvement of the working condition in all these aspects. And we believe that it's almost impossible until it's done. But together, we can make it happen. United, recognition of our union, working together with everybody possible. Like I said today, I'm quite happy to be here with the Green Party, who has been quite supportive to us at Sage Nursing Home, and we asking for solidarity and support for all the corner, for the council, for the government, for everybody, because something needs to be done, something needs to be changed. We are human like everyone else, and we offer something to society. The only thing we want, something we deserve: better living wage, better sick pay, better annual leave. We have family to look after. We have things as well to do. So I will finish by saying that thank you for listening to me. And our dispute is about a better living, a decent living, and a better future for all of us. I hope I earned the privilege of your time, and thanks for listening to me.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. And now I'll pass on to our second speaker, who is Henry Lopez from the IWGB. Henry's been the General Secretary of the IWGB trade union since November 2020. Henry joined the union in 2013 as an outsourced cleaner for the University of London and has played a key role in its campaigns and growth from 300 to 5,400 members. So I'll pass over to you now, Henry.
Hi, thanks everybody for having me here today. Yes, the story of Billy is a story that I went through at the University of London when organizing as a worker and fighting against outsourcing with my colleagues and everybody there at the university who were exploited. I mean, we had a long campaign running since then where we have achieved great conditions for our members in terms of sick pay, holiday, better pension, but most of all, dignity and respect in the workplace. Just last November, all the cleaners were brought in-house, and they are now enjoying all the benefits and the quality that they should have never been denied. But this is something that is happening in many, many workplaces. And this is something that the IWGB has been campaigning in order to end, because outsourcing means exploitation, means inequality, means discrimination and abuse. So this is one of the campaigns the IWGB has been doing at the University of London. It was a very long campaign. It showed the strength and the power that the workers have when they unite and fight for better conditions at work, and shows that it is possible. It is possible to win things when the workers are prepared to fight for better conditions and to improve the working conditions in the workplace. Since then, we've been campaigning in other workplaces like Goldsmiths, where we also managed to bring security guards in-house as part of our campaign against outsourcing. We've been campaigning also at UCL, where we have managed to secure better conditions in terms of sick pay, in terms of holidays, and we're still campaigning in order to end outsourcing. But we also have been campaigning in other workplaces in order to improve the conditions of precarious workers in this country, because the problem with outsourcing is everywhere, and the way that Billy and his colleagues are treated is something that's happening across the country. And the IWGB has been taking on employers demanding better conditions, and we've been successful in securing this. This pandemic has shown that there is a way of fighting back against exploitation, because the problems that before were not that visible, during this pandemic, they have become very visible and has brought to the public eye the problems that precarious workers are having in terms of being badly paid, in terms of not having good conditions, not having protections in terms of health and safety. I mean, this pandemic has exacerbated the problem of these workers. Something that the IWGB has been fighting for many years is now in the public eye. And that's why, like, many workers have realized that have realized the importance of being members of a trade union. It is only through a trade union that workers can organize and can win better conditions. The government is not going to improve this. It has shown time and time again that they don't care about these workers. They're not prepared to give them proper wages. They're not prepared to give them better sick pay and better conditions of employment. We have seen during this pandemic workers who don't qualify for sick pay, they don't get any money. We have seen workers who haven't been put on furlough because the companies just can choose not to do so. In the union, we've been campaigning to force companies to put workers on furlough. We have been campaigning to force employers to give workers protections in terms of health and safety, giving them the right equipment to do their jobs. So for us to be doing this during a pandemic, it shows the negligence of the employers and the government in terms of not supporting these workers. At the moment, these workers have been called essential, but they're only essential when they are clapping them, when they need them, but they're not essential in terms of protecting them and giving them the conditions that they deserve. And this is something that we've been doing as a union, not just for cleaners, but for many outsourced workers, precarious workers, even workers in the gig economy like couriers, private hire drivers, who also are on precarious condition of employment, or even worse than outsourced workers, because they don't have basic conditions like many of us take for granted, like sick pay, holiday pensions, right to have trade union representation. In terms of health and safety, many of them have been forced to buy even their own equipment in order to protect themselves. So this is something that is happening, and this is something that needs to be a highlight. And that's why with IWGB has been even taking the government to court in order to protect these workers in terms of health and safety. And we've been successful in that. And we recently also launched a campaign for a better furlough, because as I said, the fact that the government is not making it compulsory for employers, the fact that the government is deciding at the last minute that it's going to extend. Many companies have made workers redundant when they didn't need to do so. Even like multi-million companies like Italian Jarvis, for instance, have put workers in redundancy instead of putting them in furlough. And as I said, the companies at this moment are picking and choosing who they furlough or not. And this is really bad for workers in precarious conditions, because many of them don't have any other support. There is benefits there, but many of these workers cannot even access those benefits in terms of universal credit, for instance, because the conditions they have at work is the conditions they have in life in this country as well. Many of them cannot even speak the language. Many of them live in crowded housing that they don't even have a bill to show. That is sometimes requirement to access these benefits. So they are in a very, very difficult situation right now, and that's why we were demanding that the government make furlough compulsory and extend it indefinitely. Recently, the government has decided to extend it until September, but still it's not compulsory for employers. So we still have to represent members who are being sent letters of redundancy. And also, it's not just that, but employers have used this pandemic to make the situation of these workers even worse. Like there's a lot of cut of hours in the contracts. They are changing their contract to 3-hour contracts. They are making them work at night when they used to work in the morning. There's all sorts of injustices that are going on, like workers not even being paid furlough. They found out after they went to apply for benefits that the company has been receiving furlough, but they haven't been paying to them. So there is all sorts of problems that, we can be talking here all night about this, but yeah, I mean, this is something that we are doing, and we are asking everybody to support us, to support in the campaigns that we're having, because I think it's very important for us to have this support. So if for everybody who wants to know more about our campaigns, they can follow our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and help us putting pressure on the government or to employers. Because like we also have the universities, for instance, where workers are being called in masses to work when there is no need. And we've been also putting pressure on universities to close because they've been calling workers basically to do nothing at work. And we have been successful in some of the cases. We have had members contracted COVID because they've been forced to work when there was not a need for to do so. Now that obviously the government is saying that schools are going back to work. I mean, schools are going back to normal. University might do as well. So we will still need to keep putting pressure on these employers for them to do the right thing and to protect these workers. So thank you.
Thanks so much, both of our speakers. So I'll open it up for questions now. If people could put them in the chat or in the comment section on Facebook. And if you are watching on Facebook, do please share the video. But first, I'm going to be greedy and I have a couple of questions myself. So first to Bile, you've been a carer, dealing with a lot of the sort of frontline issues with the pandemic and COVID-19, and I kind of wanted to ask about the particular aspects of your dispute relating to sick pay and what it's been like and the worries that have come up related to not getting the proper sort of sick pay that you wanted as a worker.
Yeah, thanks for the question, because the sick pay is a very important part of our campaign, because not having a proper sick pay, we got no sick pay. We only get the basic, what the government give you, I think with 94 or 95 something per week. When you're sick, you have to go to work. At a time, you're not being honest, because being sick and not having a sick pay make you go to work while you are sick. So by doing that, you put the resident life at risk, your colleague health at risk, and then you work. Or your other option is to use your annual leave and get pay during your off sick. I got colleagues and friends who has been sick, who got, for instance, broken leg, who got heart surgery, who got knee surgery, have to come quickly after work when they were not even yet fit to come back because there's no sick pay. So we think that having a proper sick pay in line with the National Health Services will be something very important and will be a very good thing and a very good move for the care services and the low paid, like the cleaner, the domestic, and the maintenance.
Thank you. I guess a follow-up question as well then is about the low pay and the disparity between the pay that you have as a care worker and that people would get, say, for example, in the NHS. Can you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, low paid. At Sage Nursing Home, a domestic earn £8.72. A junior care assistant earn around £9.10, and a senior healthcare assistant earn £9.60. So this is poverty wage for heroic care worker, as they call us, and as key worker, as I said, for those who keep care home running, such as cleaner, maintenance worker, the average money you earn per week is not enough for you to have a decent living. Therefore, we live in poverty. We sometimes burst with pride saying that, yeah, I like my job, I'm doing that, I'm doing it. But at some point, we need to be quite honest with ourselves that enough is enough. A change needs to be done about it, and something needs to be done. At least the London living wage is £10.85. A wage in London is around £15. So why a care worker can get this kind of wage when it provides a quality service, prolong people's life.
Thank you. And I guess one more question about something you mentioned in your speech was UVW has come out in favor of what they call a national care service. Can you tell me what that means and why that's important to you?
The UVW support the creation of the national care services because it will be very, very, very important for us because being under the government, both for the worker, both for the resident, we all get covered. Because what we see nowadays, what is happening that most of the company are getting sold, privatized. Then when they settle down, what they do is giving you a low paid, giving you what they want, giving you a different kind of contract they want. Nobody check them. Nobody know what they are doing. It's like people need to be put before profit. So by creating a national care services, I think that the care sector, the cleaning, the domestic, the low paid people at least will be able to get protected and get a decent living, decent wage, decent sick pay, decent annual leave, and have a better life. Because it will be good for everybody. Like I give an example of a school, La Retraite Catholic school, who at the moment is preparing for 40 days of strike. The same thing is happening there. They've been outsourcing by a private company who does not provide sick pay for the cleaners, but the teacher working in the same place having a full sick pay. You have a difference. So the national care services should be something that we need to all support because it will be very, very a good benefit and support and help for all of us. It will make a big difference supporting the care worker, the cleaner, and the domestic.
Thank you. Related to that, and this is to Henry now, about outsourced cleaners, you mentioned the IWGB had been recently campaigning on the closure of unis and trying to get universities to close because of the amount of cleaners being forced to go in unsafe conditions as well as security staff. Can you tell us a bit more about that campaign?
Yeah, we have at universities we have cleaners, security guards, basically outsourced workers being called to work when at the time that there were more people dying because of COVID, universities were calling workers to come to work, which is it was something very concerning for the workers because they have to travel to the workplace, and in some cases there wasn't much to do in the workplace really, and the university basically was exposing these workers, and that's why we had members, for instance, at UCL, we have 90 security guards who were got infected with COVID, and because of this situation that the university was causing to these workers. So we were demanding that the university close the building because there was no need to keep it open. In some cases, as I said, we have members contracting COVID, and some members were very concerned, and that's the reason we were putting pressure on the universities. But as I said earlier, the problem with outsourcing is that these workers are being treated differently. And what Billy is saying in regards to sick pay is a shame that second nursing is not giving them the conditions they deserve, because this is what happened as well at universities, where outsourced workers are treated in a discriminatory manner. And basically there is a two-tier workforce which discriminate one set of workers, which in the majority are migrant workers, denying them of the same conditions like direct employers have. And this has been reflected as well during this pandemic, because these are the workers who have been treated in this manner, basically having to work during this pandemic and not being given proper conditions, but also not even be given proper protections in terms of health and safety. As I said, we have had cases where members have have had to take their own equipment in order to protect themselves because the employers are not giving them. But as I said, this is a norm in outsourcing. So what Bill is saying is something that's going on everywhere. So this is the time to expose this kind of treatment, because this issue with outsourcing has exacerbated, especially the treatment towards these workers. So we need to keep shaming these employers. We need to keep exposing these issues, and we need to change, because this is something that has been continuing for so many years, and during this pandemic has been brought to light. I mean, in a more exposure to the public.
Amazing, thank you, Henry. I'll go to the audience questions now because they are piling up thick and fast. Please do put any more in the chat if you have them. But first, a question to both of you from Matthew Hull, who says, I'd be interested to hear from either of our speakers any comments or words of encouragement to say for all the health workers, including NHS workers, that are considering strike action at the moment over the government's 1% pay deal for NHS workers on Agenda for Change contracts. I guess I'll go to Billy first on that.
Yeah, I would say that I think they are right, because 1% pay rise, and others say for the nurses, if I'm right, is not good enough. Because when we talk about national health services, we talk about a team, and a team is done with nurses, doctor, cleaner, laundry staff, is a whole package. So I believe that we're talking about pandemic, but I think that there's two, for me, I think there's two pandemic. There is a COVID-19, the one we've been fighting for, and then the second virus is the bosses or the management or the government who doesn't seem to understand that something's happening and something needs to change, something to be improved now. So that's the second virus we need to fight. So I think that the NHS, they deserve better. We all deserve better. Therefore, we all need to be together and then stand up for what we deserve.
And Henry, anything to add on that?
Yeah, I think we fully support their cause. I mean, you know, this is an insult to these workers who have sacrificed their lives for other people and have done an amazing job. So they should have been rewarded according to what they have done during this pandemic. The hard work they have done have been immense, and for the government to throw them, you know, this 1%, it's just an insult. And you know, will politicians are giving them pay rises? You know, there is some comparisons that, you know, politicians have thousands of pounds in terms of pay rises, whereas the NHS have not had that. And I think it's time to reward them. You know, there's no only one way of thanking them, like clapping and asking the public to clap. I think the government should be giving them this a better pay rise that they deserve.
Thank you. I've got a question from Saba to both of you again. What barriers did you face when you tried to get people to support your actions and campaigns during the COVID restrictions, obviously with lockdown and everything like that? And what did people do to support your campaigns remotely or not that you found especially helpful? I'll go to Henry first on that.
Yeah, I think yeah, we had like kind of barriers. Obviously, we have barriers in terms of campaigning. This is something that the IWGB has been doing in terms of taking direct action, and we had to accommodate way of living with different way of tactics, and one of the ways has been to ask people for support in terms of petitions, in terms of sharing things on social media. It's been difficult. It's been very difficult to do things, especially for these workers, because for us, you know, direct action has been one of the main tools we have used in terms of exposing bad employers, and the fact that we cannot protest, we cannot strike as we used to do, like in big, having a lot of people in the picket lines, has been something that has been kind of a barrier for us. Obviously, we asking people to support our cause. We have had people supporting us. I wouldn't say that I don't think we have had like restrictions. Apart from the restrictions that we had, we have been doing different things like with social media, with Zoom calls, having to use different tools in order to inform our members, in order to recruit. But I think, I think people have been supporting us, and we just, I think this is going to continue. So we just expect the people to keep supporting us in terms of putting pressure in different ways, like sending petitions, writing letters, things that we can do right now. Obviously, things might change, and we might be able to go out and demonstrate, and that will give us another option to do things.
Thank you, and Bile.
Yeah, at Sage Nursing Home, the barrier started first of all at work. We've been facing discrimination, bullying, inequality, total lack of respect. In one word, just frustrate you for you to leave. But it's a place that we've been loyal to, so we decided to stay, organize ourselves with our union. We start with the CAC for recognition. We got it halfway. We're still on it. We invited the board, the management, for several meetings. They didn't listen to us. We didn't stop there. We organized through the media with the support of the Green Party, the Labour Party. We didn't stop there. We were lucky enough to have as well, Zach Polensky was very, very supportive of us. We've been through ITV, we've been through RT, YouTube, everywhere possible. The support has been amazing. Even the other union, Unison, the Unite, we all came together. And then the last resort was the strike. So the first picket line was a virtual picket line online. We went with 400 people who supported us on this day. And on the second day of the strike, we went out on a picket line. And what we did, we just maintained social distances, wearing reflective clothing, and we and Jarvis are dancing. Through the dance, we portray our messages. And after that, we went back to work. The same thing continue, discrimination. We got grievance and grievance. No one is listening. We continue through social media, meetings, speaking at events, donation from people from everywhere, and which we are very grateful for. But we say to ourselves that it's gonna happen today, if not tomorrow, but it's gonna happen. We're gonna make this change happen. So we stick together, and then we went through everything that threw at us. We stay positive, focus, and then we went for a second strike, second picket line, and here we are.
Thank you. It's great that you mentioned Zach Polanski, because he's put a question in the chat, as well as a similar one from Matthew Hull as well, is, what would be the biggest thing that someone could do watching or listening to this event to support you and your colleagues? I'll go to Henry first again.
Yeah, I think there is different ways to support. It might be by, as I said, the public sharing our stuff on social media, and writing petitions that we have, because in many cases they work. Like if our employer gets like 200-300 letters in their inbox, it puts pressure on them. But also in terms of big organizations inviting us to events where we can talk, where we can make, we can get to more people to hear the issues that we're going through. But we're also working in solidarity in terms of putting more pressure, having MPs on board, people who can put the pressure on the government, organizations that are not necessarily, fighting for workers' rights, that are fighting for other things, because at the moment this is not just about workers' rights. Yeah, we're talking about workers' rights today, but there's a lot of discrimination going on at the moment with people having problems with a visa, in terms of application, in terms of no recourse to public funds, and there's all sorts of problems. People not being able to access benefits, even that benefits are there. There's a lot of people not being able to access this. So there's many ways people can help, and we appreciate the support that everybody's given us. I think organizations like us, because we are small unions that are punching over our weight. We need more support than other organizations, and I think the public support is amazing in terms of supporting our struggles for justice and to improve the conditions of these workers.
Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, I will agree with Andre, and I will say that support is something very important for us. But what kind of support we would like? I think at Sage Nursing Home, we went to events, we went to the media, maybe a bigger profile on the media, but something dear to our heart is that we would like to get an invitation to sit to the parliament in front of the MPs, the Prime Minister, the Chancellor, and then ask them face to face why our industry are facing kind of problem. Why us? We would like them to be sitting in my shoes for 12 hours shift, and I will be in their shoes, and then I will see how they will feel, because for us, is a total lack of respect. So having a voice at the parliament, meeting them if they want on national television, where we can discuss our problem face to face, swapping role, will be something very, very good for us. And again, any kind of support will be welcome. Petition, media, events, everything is welcome. Anything which can help, welcome. But something very dear to us is get a voice at the parliament and the national care services.
Thank you. And a question from Lydia to both of you. Would you be able to discuss how you first raised these sort of issues with your employers, and what you found worked or didn't work in trying to get through to them how urgently you needed issues in your workplace changed? I guess I'll go with Billy first, because you've obviously been involved in the current dispute.
When this started 8 months ago with one lady at work who was fighting on her own. Before, we were a part of different union altogether, and she was suffering on her own. And then it happened that we spoke one day and we said, why not be together in the same union and then go to the board? So we decided to join together, and then it was like going back to school, because we've been educated in our rights. The UVW were like our savior. It's like an angel who just came. You know your rights. You know what you can do. You know what you deserve. You know what you can ask. And then we wrote to the board. When we wrote to them, the last time we saw the board of Sage Nursing Home was in 2016, when we had the first dispute. After 4 years, they turned up in 2020, September. They said it was a listening project. We voiced our grievance, we voiced our demand. After that, they disappear. Nothing. We regroup again, we write. We wrote, open dialogue, discussion, nothing. And then we've been patient, we waited and waited. We sometimes give a bit of respect and dignity to our residents, because it's sometimes painful when you are in this kind of situation, and especially the work we do, to leave, go outside on a picket line and then leave your resident. It was quite hard for us. But at the last minute, we canceled the first strike. Negotiation never happened. And again, we wrote to them. And most of the time with the support of our union. And at the end of the day, nothing happened. We went to one strike, second strike, now is negotiation, and still be waiting, but still working hard to achieve what we want to achieve. So it's quite hard, but together we will get there.
Thank you. And Henry, I suppose in the context of cleaners and private hire drivers, you can talk about both.
Yeah, I think normally what we always try to talk to our employers in terms of finding a solution to our problems, but also in terms of demanding better conditions. In the case of outsourcing, it's really difficult to talk to our employers or to organize in order to demand to our employers. What we really do is like go and put pressure on the institution that is outsourcing, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who have to improve their conditions, and they are the ones who are outsourcing. In many of the cases, when we talk to our employer, they basically don't do much, like unless there is a union in the workplace, where workers are organized and we have power, then they will listen. Recently, I had a case where we organized also workers in a private hospital, and they were having all sorts of problems, discrimination, bad treatment from managers. They, like direct employees, were being given COVID tests. They were giving other vaccinations, and these workers weren't getting any of that, not even information about that. They were not being given, like they were asked to work the weekends. They would be asked to work more, but they wouldn't be paid more, and they were trying to force them. So they organized, and we decided to launch grievance, a collective grievance. And through that, we've been managed to stop the company from trying to force them to work weekends when they didn't work. Give them the vaccinations that they should have been given them. Give them the information of the COVID test, and stop the bad treatment. So as a result of them organizing and taking this case against the employer, we managed to stop this. So now they are being given after the grievance, they were given the vaccinations, they were given the test for COVID, they were given all this information that they were given to direct employers, but they were not given to these cleaners. And they stopped trying to force them to work the weekends, or to do to work more that they were working, because obviously during COVID, the situation for them has also become unbearable, because there is more work, like things that before they just it needed to be cleaned at a certain time, like certain limited time. Now they have this time is triple, because they need to clean even more now, and they are not paid more, and they are not given more time to do so. So this is something that you can fix going to your employer and through the union. But in terms of conditions, this is something that you need to campaign, like Bile is doing, basically demanding this to their direct employer. I mean, to the institution that is outsourcing. And this is something that we have done at the universities, and I think this is something that we are going to do in our workplace as well, in terms of improving pay and improving terms and conditions. But normally, if you talk to your employer, it's very it's difficult if you're not organized, if you're not organized as a group with the union that is supporting you, and you can make any complaints on your own. It's very difficult to win anything. They will not even listen to you. They don't care. Now, sometimes not even when you go on strike, they still don't care. But it's about putting pressure on them. It's about shaming them enough to do the right thing.
Thank you. Okay, so we've got about 15 minutes left. So if people want to ask questions, I'd put them in chats and stuff in the comment section now. And again, do share the Facebook video if possible. But we've got a question from Mateus to Henry about, could you talk about the role of students, staff and teachers as supporters to the cleaners and the security campaigners? Are they helpful is the question put on the end there. So I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, I would say very, very helpful. I mean, many of the campaigns that we have won has been working in solidarity with student movement, with teachers, with direct employers, even who has been supportive of our cause. We have, at the University of London, we had UCU having a passing a motion of boycott Senate House in order to put pressure on the university to give their workers basically the conditions they deserve and to bring them in-house. And without that support, it would have been more difficult for us to win anything. Students have been the key element to win the campaigns at universities. For instance, they've been the ones who've been putting pressure on the university because they are the ones who are paying the fees. And by them supporting our cause, like coming to our demonstrations, writing to the university, and helping us to expose the university in the spaces that we as workers cannot do, have been very helpful. I mean, as I said, teachers have been very helpful as well. I think the more we work together, because at the end of the day, like in universities, for instance, outsourcing is one of the biggest problems. If we don't fight against outsourcing, this will not be happening just to the cleaners. It will be happening to other workers. As you can see now, teachers are being put on 0 hours contracts. They are, given this bogus contracts of employment, and this is affecting their lives as well. So by helping the ones below, we can help. We can help each other. I mean, the ones up top to have to be in good conditions as well. So I think answering to that question, I think their support has been huge and been very helpful, and we really appreciate the support of students, the teachers, and everybody who's been supporting us in this academic institution.
Thank you so much. I guess I just have one last question to both of you to sort of close on, which is what gives you hope for the future of organising workers? And I guess I'll start with Billy.
Thanks. As far as we are concerned at Sage Nursing Home, we think that we all won, and then we need to be united, because if we want to achieve anything, we need to be together for better wages, better sick pay. We need to be together because it's time for reflection and it's time for a change. And the change will only happen if we fight for it. So I think when we stand together with courage and no fear, we will achieve something. So I will say that it's time for 12, and quality care deserves quality pay. It's also time for the system to be changed and for the low-paid people to be looked after, because we all deserve something we work hard for, and we will not stop. If we have to run, we will run. If we have to crawl, we will crawl, but we will still keep moving. And the support has been very, very, very close to our heart, because it's like our heart are bruised, and then we need to make our heart clean and happy, because we are happy people waking up every morning, going to work. And if they don't see it, if they don't know that respect, dignity, and equality is a feeling, and feeling haven't got a price. You can't buy that. It's something you deserve and you get. So that's our aim, and that's our vision. Together, all united, we make the change happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Henry, what gives you hope for the future of organising workers?
I think this is the right time to organize. There is no better time to organize in a trade union. For years, we've been campaigning. We've been taking employers to task. We've been winning, and we know there is a hope. But we have to change that hope into action. And this is something that UVW, IWGB have been doing and showing that is it possible when the workers unite, when we work together, when we work in solidarity with other organizations, and in order to change this society that is so unequal. we can do things, but it's on us to do that. The government is not going to change anything for us. They're not going to improve wages. They are showing this with the people that have been doing an amazing job, like, you know, in the health sector. So if they're not doing that at this time, you know, that these workers have done such an amazing work, there is no hope for us to, you know, to have hope with the government to change things for us in terms of pay, in terms of conditions. So we need to organize. We need to go to workplaces, talk to workers, get organized. That's the only way we can win. We can secure better pay. We can secure better sick pay, better holidays, better pensions, but most of all, dignity and respect in the workplace and equality. This is something that, as I said, we have done and we will continue doing. And we hope to count with the support of everybody, because without your support, it's difficult, but with your support, we can do great things. So thank you for everybody who's listening today, and please continue supporting us. Follow us on social media, and let's keep doing the great work and keep organizing. Thanks.
Thanks so much. That's an amazing note to end on. But sadly, that's all we've got time for. We'll let everyone enjoy their Tuesday evening now. But I just want to say, from all of us at Bright Green here, thanks so much to the speakers, to everyone watching. It's been an amazing event, and it's been amazing to hear the work that both the IWGB and the UVW have been getting up to. There's some links that I think Chris will share in the chat and the comment section, the link to like petitions and other ways in which you can support them. But we would encourage you to at least follow the UVW and IWGB on social media, share their work, and hopefully we'll all see each other on one of their picket lines soon. I'll hand over to Chris now to close it, but thank you for having me and for attending.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Thank you so much, Harry, and thank you so much to both of our incredible speakers. I found this an incredible, inspiring, and yeah, just really insightful session this evening. So thank you also to everybody who has joined us on Zoom, all of those of you who are watching live on Facebook, and of course those watching back on YouTube. As Harry said, I'm just going to pop a few links in the chat on Zoom, but also they'll be in the description on YouTube. They'll be in the comments on Facebook. So please do check those out in a second. So I'm just popping right now in the chat a bunch of links to the IWGB and UVW's websites, as well as ways that you can get involved in their campaigns and support them and show solidarity for the workers that are organising at the front line of injustice and fighting back in really powerful ways. So please do click on those links. Please do support those campaigns. There's a few final things I wanted to say before, as Harry said, we let you go and enjoy your Tuesday evening. So the first is just, if you are watching on Facebook, please do share the stream. Let's get more people seeing this. People can watch it back. If you're watching on YouTube, please do, as always, like the video. Please do let us know what you think in the comments. Please do share that video. It means more people will see it. More people will hear about these incredible unions and the work that they are doing. The next thing I wanted to let you know is just about our upcoming events and what Bright Green is doing in the coming weeks. It's the first thing I wanted to do, and I'm popping a link in the chat on Zoom now, and there'll be links wherever else you're watching it. We have an event coming up next Tuesday, which is the third episode of our Bright Green debates, which are bringing together people from across the left, from trade unions, from the media, from campaigners, and all sorts of other fields as well. The next one is on March 16th at 7:30, which will include Rosie Sexton from the Green Party. It will also include Chris Saltmarsh from Labour for a Green New Deal, Josiah Mortimer from Left Foot Forward, and a host of other great guests. So please do register for that. The link is in the chat, and it will also be broadcasting live from our Facebook page at 7:30 on Tuesday, the 16th of March. A few final bits and pieces just before you leave. The first of them is just that you can make sure that you don't miss anything that Bright Green is doing by following us on our social media channels, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. There are again links in the chat on Zoom, and will be links in the comments and description on Facebook and YouTube, respectively. And the final thing I wanted to say is just at Bright Green, we've tried really hard to do as much as we can to support the struggles of grassroots workers who are organising in their workplaces, and also grassroots campaigners that are trying to build a better world. We want to put on more events like this. We want to publish more articles about the struggles of workers. The only way that we're able to make that happen, the only way this event was able to happen, and future events and future articles and so on, is through the kind donations of our supporters. So if you do feel able, please do set up a donation to Bright Green at bright-green.org/donate. And again, there is a link in the Zoom chat and will be in the comments as well. Of course, if you have even more money, please do donate to the incredible trade unions we've had with us tonight for their strike funds and for other bits and pieces that they're fundraising for, because that's equally important as well. I think that is everything I have to tell you. Sorry for that barrage of information at the end. But as I said, this has been incredible, really insightful talks from both of our guests. So thank you again.
Thanks.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you to everyone watching in whatever means you are. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and hopefully see you next Tuesday for the next Bright Green debate.